Crooked Joe Biden's only campaign strategy is indicting me. That's all they can do. Keep indicting him on nonsense. Going on extended vacations and sleep, sleep, sleep. That's what he wants to do. He wants to sleep and he wants to go to the beach and sleep. He thinks he looks good in a bathing suit. He doesn't.
Listen, some people are arguing that the latest idea from Donald Trump to essentially be a content creator who puts out dozens of videos a day is a bad idea. I disagree. I think that maybe it's one of the best ideas he's ever had, okay? Because dude's entertaining and funny as hell. That was just a little taste of it. Now, seriously though, Donald Trump has launched his latest venture as a content creator, which in all seriousness is a pretty bad idea for a guy who is now facing indictments in 4 separate cases, 2 federally and 2 on a state level. And in just 24 hours, he has posted over 50 video clips of himself talking about various things and throwing around a lot of insults. Remember, Waz, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, but they indicted him and he doesn't care. He's gonna go for this, and honestly, I'm here for it. What do you think?
Obviously, I share that sentiment. That was a very highly entertaining clip. Joe Biden in a bathing suit just warmed my soul just now. Just the thought of that. But yeah, the guy seems to be pretty reckless and indifferent to these damn charges. Like the idea that you would go out and speak publicly about the cases that you have pending would seem like defendant suicide. But this guy's just like, you know what? I'm jumping in head first. He loves the camera, obviously. He loves talking about himself, obviously. And so he's gonna give it a go.
Oh, he does not care. He is ready and willing to be reckless. So he announced on Truth Social, I'm pleased to inform you that periodically, I will be doing videos on Truth Social that will be discussing many subjects in many time frames. You will be able to choose the video and policy that you like and may want to reply to on Truth Social. Enjoy. So look, I don't know exactly why he's doing this. I do think, it is a bad idea for him, great idea for us. I mean, I'm here for the entertainment. But I do think that maybe this is an effort to drum up some business for Truth Social. And we want to give you some examples of the kinds of videos that he's putting out there. So most of the videos were addressed to various political groups across the country, but quickly digressed into his usual talking points. So of course, he mentioned his indictment, which is the worst idea. He's actually been warned by judges to not do this, and how he never thought this would even happen to him, because of course he didn't think this could ever happen to him. He's always been treated as if he's above the law. But all of a sudden, not so much. Anyway, without further ado, here's a little taste of that video.
After your all-time favorite president, me, was indicted again, it will be now 4 times. My whole life, I never got indicted or even thought about it, and now they're indicting me every chance they get. But once I was indicted again as a completely innocent man, we need to end the month as strong as possible. We're fighting them like nobody else knows how to fight.
So he's definitely also doing this to raise money. I mean, what do you say to that? What do you say to that?
It's your favorite president, me.
Okay.
That's incredible. And in all honesty, I think it's just this idea that he probably feels like he needs to go on the offensive with quote unquote his side or his version of the story. And it's crazy because they've made the correct calculation, in my opinion, that even the most hackiest journalists on the right would have to ask him some of the most basic questions involving his case, even if they were softballs. Even the person with the least credibility would have to ask him the most basic questions, and he would probably have to start lying, man, and have to start damaging his case in the public. So they probably decided, instead of talking to a journalist and getting our versions of the case out there, let's just drop some truths on him. But Ann, I wanted to ask you, do you have a Truth Social account? Is there there an Anna Kasparian, Finsta, Truth Social out there, or no?
Was. I don't even want to keep up with my other social media accounts. Are you kidding me right now? Like yesterday, Cenk sent me one of his tweets, and I was like, all right, you know what? I haven't been active on Twitter, and I feel like I need to like give the people something. So I just retweeted him. I think that was like the most Twitter activity I've had in like weeks. I hate social media. It makes me depressed. So the idea that I would create a social, like a Truth Social account, is the most insane thing. You're not
curious about all the truth that's being slung out there on the Truth Social network?
You can read the truth on Truth Social without actually creating an account. That's how I've watched a lot of these videos. But with that said, in that same vein as the last video that we showed you, he went after Biden and Jack Smith for targeting him. By the way, I haven't seen these videos ahead of time. I'm lying. I wanted to kind of like keep this for actual genuine reaction live on air. So let's watch.
The justice system is being wielded as a weapon against Joe Biden's political opponents, me primarily. Why isn't the DOJ raiding crooked Joe Biden's house? Why aren't they raiding his phones? He's the most corrupt and incompetent president in the history of the United States. That's the one they should be looking at. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history, put them together, and they would not have done the damage that crooked Joe Biden has done to our nation in just a few short years.
They're not raiding Biden's house because Biden didn't intentionally take classified documents home with him. And then when he realized he did have possession of some classified documents, he immediately contacted the right people and handed them over. You, on the other hand, refused to comply, had months and months to comply, and he refused to hand over the classified documents. In fact, he implicated his own lawyers because his lawyers lied. Well, I don't know if they wittingly lied or unwittingly lied, but they told the federal government that no, he doesn't have any more classified documents. That's it, you guys have everything. And now they're in trouble. Like, it's just, it's amazing. It's amazing. Why don't they, I don't know, Woz, why don't they raid Joe Biden's home? Why don't they do it?
Well, because if you put together the top 5 worst DOJs in history, this one is stacked up above them. That was an incredible line right there. The idea Joe Biden's more corrupt than the 5 most corrupt presidents ever combined. Wow. I mean, that is just, that's amazing. Yes, I'm looking forward to this, and you've convinced me. Maybe not to get an account like you said, because we can watch these truths without an account. But I might be checking in on these daily.
I mean, they're hilarious. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip ahead. Let's pivot to the 2024 presidential election because Trump wants to brag about the polling, which, to be fair, in the Republican field, he's doing quite well, even after skipping the first primary debate. So let's hear what he has to say about that. This is video H5.
Great polls just out, leading by 40, 50, and even 60 points. Who expected that? I did. DeSanctimonious is crashing. Perhaps the party should come together. People should drop out of the race. We unify. And we beat Biden and the Democrats. They should be easy to beat.
I did. Me. Just quit the politics and tour the country as a comic. Like, I'd pay to watch. I would, I really would. As long as you have no impact on our politics or how the country's governed, I will support his comedy career. I really would. I think he could make a lot of money.
Especially if it's just gonna be about sick burns of his enemies. Invoking Ron DeSantis there, of all the other candidates who he's leading by 40, 50, even 60%, just directly going at DeSantis and nobody else was just, beautiful.
Now, he's not done with DeSantis quite yet. And even though I haven't seen this video yet, he is going after DeSantis over something that I care deeply about, that I think is incredibly important. In fact, something that is wildly popular with the American people. Let's watch.
I will protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors, which is not being done by Ron DeSanctimonious. I will tell you, he voted 3 times against Social Security, and he wanted to bring the minimum age all the way up to 70. But that's not going to happen with me. I will protect Social Security and Medicare.
Trump were disciplined, and he just really focused on that kind of messaging. I think he could even beat Biden, right?
Yeah, I think it's this kind of stuff that carried him through
100%
in 2016. Of course, obviously the anti-immigration stuff was a great boon to his campaign. Like, we know that. And obviously it was hateful and all of that stuff. But acknowledging that NAFTA was a disaster for normal everyday Americans is just true. That resonated with people. Acknowledging that Social Security and Medicare are extremely popular with the people who they benefit made sense, right? I think those are the kind of things that carried the day. I think the reason why he overperformed against Biden in 2020 in many ways was because he sent people them damn checks and put his name on it. I think a lot of this populist stuff worked for him in his previous 2 campaigns, and he would be very smart to stick to this stuff. And just hearing a Republican just come out and say, like, I'm not some Paul Ryan vampire crazy person who wants to privatize and thereby strip all the benefits of Social Security and Medicare, just come out and say, like, I'm for these things, and say it with a full-throated embrace. That's just, I don't know the last Republican who's done that.
Absolutely.
I have no idea.
No, I mean, it's not a priority for the Republican Party, right? The Republican Party has historically been against these types of social safety net programs, which is why an anti-establishment, pro-social security, anti-swamp, at least just based on what he said, right? Obviously, we have issues with his policies, and he didn't actually mean a lot of what he said when he was campaigning, but that's beside the point. There's a difference between actual policy governing and then the politics of it. He gets the politics right. And he specifically had this kind of messaging at a time when Americans were furious of 8 straight years of a Democratic politician, Barack Obama, saying that he was all about hope and change, all about helping people and lifting them up economically. And then at the end of the day, he bailed out, he was a fan of bailouts, expansions of wars abroad, all of the things that we actually hated about the Bush administration. And so Trump capitalized off that moment, and it did carry him through, if you ask me, during the 2016 campaign. If he plans on using that same tactic for the 2024 presidential campaign, I really do think it's going to help him out, certainly with winning the Republican primary. But when you look at the polling, possibly even the general election, if Biden does in fact run for re-election. Other topics he talked about in the videos, how he would obliterate the deep state, how he would allegedly end the overdose epidemic, even though he had 4 years to work on that and did nothing, and that he would prevent World War III. He called Rupert Murdoch a globalist. But the most important thing to keep in mind is that, as this headline notes, this is a nightmare for Trump's defense team. Everything he says can be used against him. And I guarantee you it will, but Trump can't be controlled. So buckle up. It's gonna be a wild and potentially fun ride.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.